Breasty.
Yeah, breasty. Breasticles. Testicles.
Breast nation.
Breasting plant.
Chicken breast.
Chicken nugget.
Oh, like a chicken nugget.
Chicken selects. Chicken select the shit out of it. Oh, McCrispy. Oh, the McSpicy's back.
Do you hear they had to take the McCrispy sign down on the motorway because it was opposite a crematorium?
That's a joke.
No,
That's a joke.
No, it's real.
That's a joke.
It's real.
No, it's not.
It's real.
That's something you've seen on Facebook.
Well, this looks pretty good, doesn't it?
It does look pretty good. It's good in the flesh anyway, so I hope it looks good.
Oh, it looks real good.
Does it?
Yeah,
You've done the test?
Yeah, I've done
Okay,
the test. Yeah, it looks real good. So why are we stood in front of this brand new factory, untouched Yamaha R1? It's because this year we're going to do a test throughout the year, which is going to be called road bike to race bike. So we bought with our own money,
with our actual pounds,
with our actual dollar ding dongs, this bad boy. And throughout the course of the year, we're going to do various tests on it, and we're going to get upgraded parts, particularly through the GYTR program, which is one of the reasons we chose the Yamaha. We'll get onto that in a bit. And we're going to let you know what is the best bang for buck and how fast we can go on this delicious superbike.
And as you said, it is box fresh, isn't it? So it's done. We haven't been started. Well, you picked it up a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It hasn't been started, so we're going to do not live. We're going to do a first. We're going to break its hymen and start it in front of you. I hope it actually starts.
I've been looking at this for 3 weeks, but we wanted to wait for it to get regged as a 2023. Today is the 1st of March, which is when the new registrations in the UK come out. So it's box fresh, it's ready
81.
to go. 23.
23, of course it is.
Did you
23.
say 81?
Yeah, I'll tell you. So the first thing we'll do is run it in, and as you probably know, anyone who lives in the UK, most of our viewers are in the UK, it isn't ideal at the moment. The roads are covered in salt still, it's still cold. I mean, even when it's dry, the roads are still shit, aren't they? So,
yeah.
And you're in charge of doing that.
Yeah, it's not really the place for a brand new R1 because it's so immaculately clean and there's no little bits there's nothing on it. This is absolutely as it comes from the factory, and now I've got to go and ride it through a load of crap, but hey.
And the first kind of test we're going to do is in a few weeks actually in Almeria. So this is why there's a bit of a rush. So we're going to Almeria for 3 days on track with some German friends. And we're basically going to show you guys what are the best mods for, we're going to say £1,000?
Yeah, I think that's going to be our target. Yeah. How much improvement can you get for £1,000?
Yeah.
So we'll be going through those basic iterations.
Yeah.
And just to get to know our bike as well, because I haven't ridden one of these, a standard R1, for a long time.
No, I haven't,
actually.
No.
Actually,
we're just doing our R1M guys, aren't we?
Yeah. But actually, no, tell a lie, I did ride a standard R1. Was it an R1 or an R1M on the GYTR test at Paul Ricard? So why have we gone for the Yamaha R1? Well, there's a couple of reasons for this. Mainly, they now produce a GYTR section of parts. So those are the parts and the package that you can get that the World Superbike team uses. They've got pro shops. I was actually on the GYTR launch a few months ago down in Paul Ricard. So we'll put a link to that video here. And this is, out of all the manufacturers, I think Yamaha are making the most effort, consumer facing. Definitely. For people like you and I to go, I want my bike to go a bit faster, what can I do? So hopefully we're going to go down to Crescent, which is where Top Rack's actual R1 is built, and Locatelli. congratulations, Locatelli, on your podium at World Superbikes. I think they're doing a really good job in terms of helping customers go racing, or at least go track day.
Yeah, because I mean, you look at all the other manufacturers, pretty much you have to be in a race team, or you have to be a certain somebody with a certain amount of money to get hold of race parts. And I mean, certainly HRC, I mean, no one can walk into a Honda dealership or a BMW dealership or a Kawasaki dealership and go, right, I want these parts just for Joe Bloggs' US track day. So with Yamaha, you can literally scroll through the website, or go down to the Pro Shop or Crescent, for example, and choose the bits you want. And as you said, they are proper race, developed race parts. So it's kind of a no-brainer, I think. And it's, well, go on, I'll go and say.
Well, I was going to say, and they're going to help you do it as well, because even us, like, a lot of the time, if you're looking for race parts, you end up with a catalogue with like a little bit of text like that with a vague description. You're like, well, what is this?
Yeah.
So hopefully we're going to take this bike down to Crescent, and they're going to guide us through some of the best modifications to do to help us get our bang for buck. And
the second reason is it's one of the cheapest. We thought it was the cheapest, but not. It's a few £100 in it.
The BMW is technically the cheapest, but nobody would buy a spec of that BMW that's,
well, some people do.
Entry level. Very rare.
Some people do. Some people do.
And try going into a BMW dealership and saying, I want this ABS emulator. They'd be like, what? Do you just want to buy a spangly rear set instead?
And the Kawasaki obviously is another one in the 17s, but again, it's marginal. And to be honest with you, I would much rather have the Yamaha over the Kawasaki anyway, so.
Yeah, I think just the way this bike rides, it's a really nice, natural mid-corner chassis.
It's beautiful. Corner speed assassin, isn't it?
Corner speed assassin. Brakes, biggest negative,
yes.
But we're going to guide you through on how to fix that. And of course, the third reason we bought this is, according to our limited research, but our general gut feelings, the Yamaha R1 is the most popular bike that we see on track days in Spain, in the UK. It's a real staple of the paddock. So
I love this on corner exit. There isn't another bike like it where you can take the piss. I mean, I remember when we first tried it at Silverstone, the slide control. Remember that track day back then?
Against an Aprilia RSV4 RF?
Yeah, and it just absolutely left the Aprilia. Of course, this is going back a few years, but even now, this technology, I don't think it's been surpassed yet. In my opinion, it makes you feel special. The throttle connection and the rear wheel connection and the electronics all team up to bring you, I don't want to say it because, but it's going to be really hard to launch one of these on throttle. I just said it. But no, it just makes you feel special. It makes you feel like a hero. The noise, the throttle, the electronics, I've never been able to, with electronics, I've never been able to slide a bike like I could slide an R1. So,
and on all of our mega tests, the main reason that the R1 suffers is because of the brakes. Yeah. So this is why the lap time is never right up there. Although Portimao, the last proper mega test we did, it was still the third fastest bike. It was old technology. But with a few little tweaks, I think this is the one that we can make the most impact into lap times on. For the less money as well.
And as I say, because the likes of the Panigales, the BMW, the top spec BMWs, etc. They're just stupid money now.
Yeah, and they're difficult to work on. Like, try and open up a bit. Even just going to the shops, my BMW is like, oh, you've got something wrong with your bike.
I can't wait. I'm frothing.
I'm pretty creamy. I need to go and get on this and do some riding, so I'll take you with me, and you can go and look at the catalogue of GYTR parts, that's basically the best Christmas shopping list you could ever possibly have, isn't it?
I mean, there's Öhlins, a Klapovich, everything in there. Well, but maybe should we have a look? Should we have a little look through that?
Let's go and have a little look through the catalogue, and then I'll go and get cold. It's 2 degrees today, and we're in an echoey barn. Echo barn. That sounds like a nice place to shop for generic family furniture.
It sounds like a drum and bass tune as well.
Does it?
Echo barn.
From Germany, like an Autobahn.
No.
Like Echo barn.
No.
Right, so
we're back again.
We're back again because we've got to turn it on.
Don't rev it, it's cold. Don't rev it.
Should I sit on it?
You sit on it, one. Careful, careful, careful. Shall I ride, I'll go pillion.
Yeah. Don't scratch it.
You ready?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh God, are you sure?
Yeah. Oh my God. This is a thumbnail.
I want to get off now, I don't like it.
Oh, your willy just touched me. Oh, that is wicked. Right, so whilst Al goes through the catalogue, it's time to ride the bike. This is literally a 0 mile bike. It hasn't turned a wheel. 0. Can you see that? 0. So I've given it a little bit of a warm up. Enjoy how clean it looks now, because it's never going to look cleaner than this. And actually we did a shoot for WD-40 yesterday with it, so we cleaned it all with all the waxes and all that stuff, so it looks pretty bloody decent. That's their motorcycle range. I'll put a link to our Amazon thing or something in the description. Let's stop waffling and get on with it, shall we? Let's pull my pants up so I don't show everyone my bum. That's another negative about sports bikes. Oh God, the brakes. So, how do you run in a bike? How do you run in a bike? I mean, there's lots of different philosophies. Some people like to rag the shit out of them. Some people follow the service instruction by the book. Either way has its merits, and everyone's got their own opinion on it, of course. But I, personally, and we on 44 Teeth, if you warm the bike up, that's the important thing. Make sure it's nice and warm. And the first 100 miles, I genuinely really do take it easy. Just because it's not just about the engine, it's about all the other parts that are bedding in, and suspension linkages and forks and brakes, and everything's just needs to take a bit of time. Gearboxes, shifting, everything needs to take a bit of time just to bed in. And then after the first 100 miles, I open her up a bit. Don't sit at constant RPM either. I tend to just do a nice pulling on the motor, and then after 300 miles, as long as it's hot, I kind of do what I want, to be honest with you. And there's evidence to suggest that hard break-ins on bikes do make for bigger power. I don't know what happens at the end of those engine lives. Engine lives matter. I don't know what happens when they're 20-30,000 miles on, but generally the person who run it in probably doesn't have it at that point, so they don't really care. So I think we're going to opt for a middle ground and take it easy for the first 100 miles, which I'm going to do today, hopefully, and then open her up in the next video or two. So let's just have a little pootle around, get some miles under the belt. We've done 1 mile so far. 1. Let's bond with our machine. I mean, it's not a bad job really today. Thank God the sun's shining. What have we got to do today, Chris, at work? Oh, I've got to ride a brand new R1. Oh. It is pretty small, this thing. I remember it being bigger. As happens if you get used to riding a GS. But then, oh God, I mean, we're doing 80 and it feels like we're doing about 10. Honestly, these modern bikes are so good. They're so good at going fast. So I used to have a R1M probably about 6 years ago now, and I loved it. It's a mega bike, and over the years it's been improved, developed. This is not the M version, this is the standard version with the standard suspenders, and I haven't really spent that much time on this standard bike, so it's going to be quite interesting to see the differences if you really genuinely need it. The obvious advantage is you can adjust it electronically quickly rather than getting the spanners out, but there's something quite nice about getting spanners out and knowing that once you're on your ride, that's it, you've done it. Just deal with it, rather than like, oh, am I in the right mode? Have I adjusted my suspension? Like on the GS, I know it's not really a comparison, but particular roundabouts, I will change the suspension mode to go through that section and then change it back again, because it's a constant fear of missing out. Am I doing this the right way? Have I got my bike in the ultimate setup? But with conventional forks and shock, it is just that's it, it's done. Just don't worry about it, just get on with your ride, enjoy it. So there's merits for both. I think we're definitely going to get some GYTR handlebars, because these, I need much more girth. This is like really narrow here. I would prefer to be out here. Rear sets as well, they're too low from experience riding this on track. We're going to grind them out, so those items are a definite must, an Elon must. So yeah, keys, the key for me for running in bikes is make sure it's all up to temperature, like everything all up to temperature, and even turn it off, let the heat soak into the rest of it. Or you can just follow the manufacturer's instructions, which I think a lot of the manufacturer's instructions for running in is more of a legal case. I'm sure a lot of it's to do with that, and also warranties on engines, and they want the bike to last as long as possible, so they're going to give you the most extreme, easiest break-in routine possible, that's the easiest on the bike to make it last the longest, not necessarily be the fastest. I mean, Jesus, it's so quick, this thing. I just forget how bloody rampant these bikes are. I mean, we're at 5,500. I'm not going to go much more than that for now. Oh, it is hard. But what do you expect from a race bike? Huh? What do you expect, hey? Right, well, I'm going to do some miles and I'll cut back a little later. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Okay, bye. Well, we've just popped onto a road called the A272, which is quite a famous UK road. Yet another one that's completely ruined with speed limits and double white lines and making it more dangerous and terrible surfacing, but that's for another video. So what else? You bought your brand new bike. What else do you do to soften the blows? Well, of course, you're going to need insurance, and all of our bikes on 44 Teeth are covered by BeMoto insurance. That's BeMoto, that's the logo there. And it's the time now, before bike season starts, to go out and check your insurance and make sure you're getting a good deal. It's not just about the lowest price, it's actually about a decent service. And genuinely, all of my stuff is insured with BeMoto. Multi-bike policies, single bike policies, stay there, stay, good girl. And they've been fantastic, and they do track day cover as well. So this bike will be covered on track by BeMoto in the months to come. So go and check them out, mention us, we get a little tickle, it helps us support the channel. So it's a service you've got to buy anyway, insurance, right? So these guys, they know what they're doing. New bikes in the UK don't need an MOT for 3 years. And apart from that, you're kind of ready to go. Just obviously give the bike a visual once over, make sure there's nothing on the tyres. You never know, some guy in a dealership might have decided to clean them with WD-40 to make them look all glossy. Nurture her. There's no prize for going out on your brand new bike and smashing it into a hedge because you haven't bedded the brakes in, for example, which I can feel. You know, I can feel even in the 18 miles we've done, the brakes getting stronger. It definitely, it's needed. All of this stuff is needed. Well, there is a prize for smashing your bike into the scenery. It's the absolute rod bell prize. Another thing you can set up, and I should have done this before I left really, I'm quite tall, so can you see this angle here of my brake to arm? A lot of my braking, I'm on the road, I'm not going to be braking down here, which you probably would do on track. Even on track I tend to pop up. So this angle here is quite, like, you try and grip like that, it's not easy. You can just loosen these bolts here, carefully obviously, and then rotate the lever down a bit to give you a bit more comfort. This is quite an uncomfortable bike to ride on the road, but little things like that make a real big difference to your enjoyment and performance. You know, the strength I've got in my wrist trying to pull my fingers like this versus like that is immeasurable. Well, of course it's measurable, it's a lot stronger. Little things like that, get used to it. If you've got adjustable rear sets on the bike, have a fiddle with those, get comfortable. All of these little things, including riding gear, like make sure your gear is right for the bike that you're riding. Make sure it's not too tight in the gusset so you can open your legs and move around and you're free and you don't want to be all solid and rigid. That makes a real big difference to how you ride. It's not necessarily about how you run in a bike, but while you're doing all these little checks, getting ready for the season ahead, you may as well tackle these things. Like one-piece leathers, if you get them tailor-made like we do from RST, you will be faster if you've got a comfortable suit on, without a shadow of a doubt. A comfortable rider is a fast rider. Wonder how Al's doing in the warm comforts of an office or even a living room, looking through a catalogue, drinking a tea. I'd prefer to do this, to be fair.
Crescent Yamaha ProShop.co.uk. Let's go shopping. Suspension. Let's go straight in for the big dogs. Oh yes, now we're talking. I think Chris will agree with me. We're going to go for the fork, not the cartridge kit. Go proper bling. Oh blimey. DYTR wheels. Exhausts. Oh my god, where did he stop? Oh my giddy aunt.
Right, well, onwards and upwards. We're going to go to a hot biker spot on the A287 called Lumi's Cafe. It's not my favourite place in the world, but it's got motorbikes in the car park often, so you can strike up a conversation. So also we've got to think about the tyres, what state the tyres are in. I mean, the road temperature is going to be super cold, so there's not going to be a lot of grip. I mean, fortunately it's really nice and dry today, but in that normal winter dankness, you know, brand new tyres, you really do have to be aware of the dangers that can pose. And it's quite a scary thing to scrub in some tyres, even for me, and I'm a legend. But generally on the road I don't tend to be carrying massive lean angles, and even if you are, it's still kind of scary on a road because there's a wall there or a car coming the other way. Steady away is the answer to tyres. Just slowly increase that used band of chicken strip. Right, still looks clean. God, it looks bloody nice. If Batman rode a bike,